It's Movie Time is brought to you by the Gateway Film Center, 1550 North High Street, Columbus, Ohio. For their details and showtimes online at gatewayfilmcenter.org.
The award-winning It's Movie Time is produced by John DeSando. Listen to the shows and read reviews online at WCBE.org.
I'm John DeSando.
I'm Wayne Miller.
This is It's Movie Time.
It is.
Wayne, for over 50 years,
Yes.
you and I have lived through James Bond and all of his iterations, and now we have the fourth Bond
With
by Daniel Craig.
Yes. And my first Bond, in fact, it was 52 years ago. I was about 14, and it was From Russia with Love. Loved that movie. You know, it was about 1963, 64, and really, really liked it. And I think of any of the Bonds, Daniel Craig comes close to that kind of almost sociopathic Bond that Connery could play. And what I liked about this, it really kind of, there were some set pieces to it that reminded me of some of the old Connery Bonds, particularly the fight scene in the train.
Oh, right. Not in the helicopter?
Well, the helicopter, that was great too. And but
wait.
We're getting ahead of ourselves.
We're getting ahead of ourselves. The movie is.
We're getting shaken, not stirred here, John.
And it's dirty now.
Yes, it is.
His martini's dirty now. Oh,
yes.
Boy. What does that mean?
But
There
goes olive juice and sails out the window.
The film is Spectre.
Yes.
Starring Daniel Craig. And Sam Mendes is back for the second time.
Yeah, I believe so.
Certainly a notable American beauty among others. A notable director. I like the set piece at the beginning.
Yes.
Which probably has nothing to do with the movie set in Mexico on Day of the Dead.
Well, you stop to think, a lot of the Bond movies always had a set piece at the beginning
Yes.
that really didn't have anything to do with the main plot. It set it up. What I loved was the tracking shot.
Yeah.
You know, you talk about the helicopters fight scene, which was fantastic. I was really taken right from the beginning. Bond in a death mask and out.
I knew it because of his ears. I knew it was he.
And holding hands with this woman, and they're walking through a great tracking shot. And you got a real sense. It's almost, like there were certain parts of this movie. It was like watching a travel log. But I thought it was great.
Rome, London.
And
Tangier.
But walking through, and he gets in this building and out this window, and he's walking on the edge of this roof.
Yeah,
and I'm thinking,
it's a good one.
Wow, this is pretty. This is really cool. But what I was referring to earlier was the fight scene later on the train. And it reminded me of the fight scene between Connery and Robert Shaw From Russia with Love.
Okay.
It's one of those type of things. You could hear the bones crunching. That it was really a true fist fight.
As kind of a side note, but an important note for me, in the tracking scene, which would have to remind you of Orson Welles' A Touch of Evil.
Yes, exactly.
With these long tracking shots, they can be beautiful works of art. But the woman with him was Monica Bellucci.
Well, not early on. Later on, she's in it.
Okay.
This was somebody else.
Oh, this was somebody else.
This woman was.
Okay, because I began to focus on the women in this film.
Yeah.
And I was commenting that I think Bond has gone through an evolution, and I know a lot of it has to do with Mrs. Broccoli, whatever her name is.
Oh yes, the daughter of Cubby Broccoli.
Cubby Broccoli's daughter.
Producer,
and her attitudes toward feminism.
Yes.
And I hadn't thought that there was a real plan here, but you know something? There are very few Bond babes in this film.
Well, feminists would probably, beat you up for that one. But Belushi was an older woman, still very beautiful.
Yes.
Very attractive, very seductive and alluring. But you're right. And the young actress, and this is the one thing that was a bit of a failing of the movie for me, and that is this much younger woman than Daniel Craig.
Yeah.
Craig's Bond now is really
He's 47.
Yeah, well, he's definitely approaching middle age, and you can kind of tell in this one. But what I liked about this was the vulnerability of Bond, and not to give anything away, but the woman saves him in one particular scene.
They walk away holding hands. Tell me, what does this mean? I'm remembering back. Didn't Bond get married at some point?
With the George Lazenby, the only time he played
Yeah.
Bond, it's my second favorite Bond movie, even though one of my least favorite
Okay.
James Bond,
Yeah.
on Her Majesty's Secret Service. And I kept waiting, because if you remember that movie, and not to give it away for the audience, but Bond does get married. It does not end very well. And I was almost thinking, here at the end, is Blofeld going to do something
Yeah.
that's kind of a game changer? To me, what the game changer is that could Bond, at least Daniel Craig's Bond, ride away in the sunset with this
Yeah,
woman
it's
that
Leia Seydoux, I think is her name. She plays Madeline Swan, who is a PhD.
has a PhD.
All right, I'm with it.
Okay.
I'm going. And I'm worried because one of my favorite ladies in film is Diana Rigg.
Yes, and who was in married Bond in
Yes,
Her Majesty's
and so I'm
Secret
worried
Service.
because my man is gonna, what happened to my libertine James Bond?
Yeah.
It looks like, but this correlates with Daniel Craig
Yes.
talking about not doing it again.
Yes, even though contractually he's bound for one more Bond.
Oh, he is.
He is. That's at least Entertainment Weekly says it. Even
Okay.
though he keeps saying it's probably his last Bond. But you stop and think about a lot of the franchises, Batman, Spider-Man, a lot of these franchises, they reboot themselves. It's almost like a
Oh,
computer
right.
that you unplug. Is it working, or is it time?
Oh, listen.
And I think it could be a reboot for the Bond series with another different type of Bond, and they're looking at certain different
A
ones.
black Bond.
Yeah, Idris Elba.
Idris
whatever.
Elba, yeah.
Yes, an excellent actor.
Yeah.
Man, I think he could do an
Yeah.
excellent.
There are a lot of
James
people,
Bond.
even my black friends, who are not happy about changing it that drastically. But I think it can sustain it. Come
I
on.
think it could, but also there's a couple other ones that they're talking about who may not. One is Tom Hardy,
Right.
From the Mad Max,
Yeah.
and he played the villain in the last.
I'll tell you though, I'm kind of traditional on this. Another shorter blonde. I'd like the taller, leaner Connery type, and even Pierce Brosnan type. It's just the way I envision him, sleek, and so on, and certainly Craig fits the more brooding.
Yeah, he does. He fits the more brooding, like in some ways Connery was, but also particularly Timothy Dalton's Bond.
Yeah.
Whereas
yeah, good one. Yeah.
Brosnan, I thought was good, but to me he was a little bit more like a Roger Moore, a bit too slick. I couldn't see these guys getting muddied up, and in these fight scenes, like what Daniel Craig could pull off, and Craig can do it. Did I think an excellent job. I really liked it. Now,
Right.
some of the critics are kind of saying, maybe he's
Well,
not
I have a
much.
couple of feelings too. First of all, he's going after another megalomaniac.
Yes.
This one played by Christoph Waltz.
Yes.
Because no matter ISIS, where you don't know who the head is these days, they're still holding on to the one bad guy
Yes.
that Bond can go after.
Yeah.
And Waltz is certainly as good as any could be. Not enough irony for me in both cases, in both Bond and his bad guy, Oberhauser, I think is his name.
Yes, and which of course, not to give it away, is really Ernest Blofeld.
Right,
And,
yeah. So that dying motif in the beginning, that coming back from the dead, is a bit paralleled by what you're talking about, which is from the past.
symbolism,
Yeah, from the past, and that's what they're digging up is a lot of Bond past stuff.
Especially the past 3 Craig Bond movies.
Yeah.
They really reference the villains in those,
Yeah.
and what he went through. And one of the things that, and several of the critics really thought Skyfall was excellent.
Yeah.
But this one misses the mark. I disagree, and I think one of the main reasons for me, the well-rounded, and I really enjoyed some of the supporting characters, especially Bond supporting characters like Q and M and Moneypenny.
Ben Wishaw's great as Q.
Yes,
Yeah.
and he's very good. I thought Moneypenny was good. I thought Ray
Yeah.
Fiennes as M. did a good job.
He's good. You'll never get past Judi Dench, who's another person they dredged up from the past, from the dead.
Yes.
So she has an effect on this film. Nice done.
What the other villain in the piece, and this is what really intrigued me because I like these Sherlock Holmes movies and TV series, and in the Cumberbatch Sherlock, his archenemy Moriarty is played by the same actor who played C, or they also called him Max in this movie. He was the head of MI5 and was taking over all the intelligence, but he was a bad guy. And I thought he did a very good smarmy job, as he did in the Cumberbatch Sherlock series as Moriarty.
Well, the movie has updated in many ways, and one of them is they're going after a guy who wants to dominate surveillance in the world.
Yes.
Or information. And I think that's very contemporary. While they're keeping some of the older Bond motifs, they're trying to move ahead with that. And as Broccoli and the other producers know very well, everything hinges on their Bond. And so it will be interesting whether this is their sophisticated way of getting our interest by, say, Daniel Craig saying he'd rather break the glass and cut his wrist than play Bond again. Well, only a man who's a multimillionaire from playing it can say that.
Yes, I think it would be wise if he wouldn't play it again, but I wouldn't be a bit surprised that in a couple of years we'll see a reboot of it. And another example, Christian Bale, the last Christian Bale Batman,
right.
And it ended on kind of a note like, well, he's out of the game and he's in love and whatever and hiding. And so I look at this latest Bond as something like that, but it's going to be primed for another reboot in a couple of years.
You bet.
Yeah.
What a franchise.
Yeah.
The most durable franchise in film history has to be.
Yes, it is.
Wayne Miller, the film is Spectre.
Yes.
You're an educator, so I expect a grade from you.
I enjoyed it thoroughly. I'm giving it an A-.
Very good. And I'm giving it a B because, I don't know why, I'm just giving it a B. I'll tell you why I'm giving it a B, because I miss Connery and more. I miss the fusion of the two.
B for Bond.